My next patron question is from Lowell, who wants to know if a specific Disney theme park land is an accurate reflection of society as well as our future. Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis reminded me so much of Brad Bird's 2015 science fiction film Tomorrowland, about optimism versus pessimism and why the world seems to stifle creativity and innovation. Brad Bird said he chose to direct Tomorrowland instead of The Force Awakens because he was more interested in making something new. Sadly, Tomorrowland was a flop. Meanwhile, The Force Awakens blew up the box office, which is why when you go to Tomorrowland now, it's nothing like it was even 10 years ago. Walt Disney built Tomorrowland as a showcase of what the future will be like. If you go to Tomorrowland today, it's mostly IPs. While it still keeps the sci-fi theme with Star Wars and Buzz Lightyear, it's not really a showcase for the future anymore. It's mostly things that make us nostalgic for our childhoods. Disney, of course, always changes rides and lands depending on whatever young people are into. I can't help but feel like this highlights a major difference between young people in Walt Disney's time and now. In the 1950s, young people looked to the future with wonder and excitement. The future really did look bright. But these days, young people look at the future with worry and despair. What do you think Tomorrowland today reflects about people's views of the future? What did you think of Megalopolis? And how do you think we can inspire people to imagine a better future? I guess I should start off by mentioning I've not seen Megalopolis, though of everything people have said about it, I admit to being somewhat curious about it, including the ideas it seemed interested in exploring. Regarding the movie Tomorrowland, I've long felt what Brad Bird was asking with that movie was precisely what Lowell is asking here. What happened to that optimistic vision of the future depicted in things like Star Trek that foresaw technical innovations and things that could help improve humankind? Bird and Coppola are not the only artists who've asked this question either, as Seth MacFarlane has said that he created the Orville as a way to give viewers a more positive and bright future where people are able to work out their problems and do something that avoids dystopia. With Tomorrowland and the Disney theme parks, I do think there's still that optimistic spirit depending on which park you go to. The Carousel Progress remains open in the Magic Kingdom and Astro Orbiter is still at Disneyland. And of course, Space Mountain will probably be there for a very long time. However, Lowell's also right that a lot of attractions are mostly focused on Disney properties, like Monsters Inc. or Finding Nemo, neither of which are particularly futuristic. And then there is Star Wars, which has been a part of Tomorrowland long before Disney bought Lucasfilm. These are all things from the past rather than looking ahead to what the future will bring. Although despite the title of the film, I always thought Brad Bird's movie Tomorrowland was more reflective of Epcot, and wondering what would have happened if Walt Disney had been able to build his city of the future. I've long held the opinion that if he had not died in 1966 and was able to have his Epcot come to fruition, the world would have been a slightly better place. The idea was to create a city where people would be able to devise and create scientific ideas that would improve the world and maybe even inspire others. It probably would have led to so many breakthroughs in areas like science and medicine and who knows what else. I do think doomerism is a serious problem nowadays, especially as it seems like while society has progressed in certain ways, there's still those who succumb to ills like xenophobia or feel the need to have a scapegoat to blame society's problems on. We look at horrible world leaders and think there's no way to stop them. I remember when Tomorrowland was released, the speech given by Governor Nix was criticized for being preachy. However, I think people were just afraid to admit that maybe he was right. A lot of people see things like devastation and war, and instead of looking for or suggesting viable solutions, they mostly just yell at each other and look for those to blame. There's so many things I see people yell on social media or at protests, and I want to shout at the screen, that's not a solution. I hope I don't sound like an old man yelling at clouds, but the machine in Tomorrowland that feeds bad thoughts into people's brains is a lot like TikTok. Think about it. Watching bite-sized videos of people saying what's wrong with the world one right after the other does not allow for much analyzing because they quickly go to the next bite-sized video. Who is that person? Are they feeding me accurate information? You don't know. But that doom scrolling just makes someone less and less optimistic or even worse. This is even exactly the sort of thing I discussed in my video about the negative influence of rage bait. So my solution is this. The world can provide a brighter future if we believe it can. Amplify those doing good work that helps others instead of pointing fingers. Look for those who have formulated a potential plan for world peace and are doing humanitarian work. If you have social media, use that platform to share solutions and worthwhile ideas. The internet should be a tool that connects us regardless of the country someone is born in, instead of creating division. Back to Tomorrowland, Disney could certainly use it to inspire ideas, and that even includes attractions based on one of their properties. Pop culture, like movies and television shows, can not only create a needed escape, but has the ability to influence others. Think about how Star Trek has inspired scientists over the years. Someone could go on the Finding Nemo submarine voyage in Disneyland and decide they want to study and protect underwater creatures when they're older. I think the Disney theme parks have done their part to show the immense creativity and ideas that are out there. What we really need less of are those who want to create division and poison others with ideas that are detrimental to societal development rather than helping us move forward. Does that person screaming at you on your phone really have the best interest of you and the rest of the world? There are too many of those when what we really need are more people with proper solutions and ideas, and that's how we can create a better future. Thank you for your question, Lowell.